to our meeting tonight. We will jump right to it and go to our awards and recognitions with Parker.
All right, so I'm going to start with something that if you're a part of what Tucker likes to refer to as the Stamping Ground Mafia, you're probably aware, and you were probably even there for this event. So, Stamping Ground recently commemorated the 50th anniversary of the historic tornado that devastated the community and school. Stamping Ground librarian Whitney Sosby worked for months to plan and execute an incredible program that bridged a generation gap, bringing together current students with community members that lived through the tornado. Her students were able to learn about this history from firsthand experiences. At the event, fourth grade students shared survivor interviews while third graders shared information about the weather and tornado outbreak across the country. Guests were able to view photos and artifacts. High school gifted and talented students who were Stamping Ground alums set up a recording booth for visitors to share their story on site if they hadn't already had a chance to do so. This served as a soft opening for the Georgetown Scott County Museum exhibit, which includes essays written by fourth grade students in Miss Ann Sabatine's class from 1974. Mrs. Sabatine had the forethought to capture the experience, which served as the inspiration for this project. We have the interview with Miss Sabatine to share with you.
Whitaker, and thank you for being here. We're interviewing you and asking questions about the tornado, and you can pass or decline any questions. We have some questions prepared to start our interview. Please tell us your name and how old you were during the 1974 tornado.
Oh my goodness. Well, my name's Ann Sabatini, and I guess I was 24.
What was your connection to Stamping Ground during that time?
I taught fourth grade.
Tell us some memories of that day before the tornado hit Stamping Ground.
Well, the tornado hit after school was out that day, and so I was already at home in Lexington. So I really didn't know about it until I saw things on the news. And then the next day, I drove back and saw all the devastation.
What emotions did you have when you realized it was a serious situation?
Well, it made me very sad, but I was also very grateful that it happened after school, because if kids had been in school, then it would have really been a hard time.
What sights and sounds did you experience?
Well, since I wasn't here for the tornado, I didn't have those same kinds of sounds and, the wind and whatnot. But in Lexington, it was, we had a tornado warning. We didn't ever have the tornado, but we lost power. And then, of course, I got scared because it was dark.
Tell me how you and your family were affected.
Well, it was just my husband and myself, so we weren't affected like the people in Stamping Ground. I think I was more affected with my students in the classroom. We got sent to Southern Elementary for the rest of that year. So that was difficult, but everybody kind of pulled together and it worked.
Were you surprised to learn later that it had become a historical weather event?
Not really, because if you saw the devastation, you pretty much knew it was going to be something that would go down in history. However, I didn't ever think, when I had my students write those papers, I never thought about 50 years from now. And here it is, 50 years later.
Are there other special memories you would like to share?
I think the best memories are the things that my students wrote in their papers about what it was like for them, because they actually went through it.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw what had happened. I did get to come into the school like the next morning, and my room was upstairs, and when I walked up the stairs, you could see a room here and a room here, but then in the middle was all blown down. But in my room, I still had flowers sitting in a vase on the windowsill. That's how localized tornadoes are.
Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again at our presentation on March 26th.
Well, you're very welcome, and I'm hoping to be here, so that will be nice.
And again, yeah. Stamping Ground it's just a special community. I think I talked about it last month, I believe, in my superintendent report of attending that. Just an outpouring of people, whether they had students in the community or in the school or not. A lot of people were there. So tonight we're recognizing Mrs. Sosby because, like Mrs. Sabatini before her, teachers make a difference in the lives of our students and our community. In 50 years, I have no doubt another group of students will recognize the contributions of outstanding educators like Miss Whitney Sosby. Ms. Sosby, please come forward to receive your Scott County Schools Challenge Coin in recognition of your efforts. Come on up. There you go. All right, got one more for us. One more recognition today. And this next one up is Rachel Williams, and she's from Great Crossing High School, and she is an exceptional child educator in our district, and she's been selected as the Teacher of the Year in Scott County Schools by CKEC. So congratulations to her. This honor is a testament to her commitment and contributions to her students, school, and district. Ms. Williams delivers high-quality instruction to meet the needs of her students, builds long-lasting relationships with her students and their families, and continues to support students long after they've graduated from our district. She makes each student know that they belong in Scott County. It's so exemplary, her work is, that a news story earlier this year highlighted the accomplishments that she has and the achievements of her students, and it was broadcast earlier this year. And we want to share that really quick before we present her as well.
We head back to the classroom this morning to check in on an inspiring group of kids at Great Crossing High School in Georgetown.
I had a chance to visit with Mrs. Williams and her students and learn about some really cool things she's doing with them at their school.
What kind of jobs are out there?
Inside Rachel Williams' classroom, it's really no different from another day at the office.
We focus on job-ready skills, employment skills, social skills. What if I get hired during Christmas? What's that called? Seasonal jobs.
A real-world education, as Miss Rachel and the staff here work to combat some real-world challenges the students in this class are facing.
We go on what's called community-based instruction, and we learn skills here in the classroom that we can apply out for jobs, for life readiness skills.
This task seems menial, but it actually means everything.
We filled these bags up with marshmallows and the card and hot chocolate.
Thank you.
All for Central District Staff Holiday Breakfast. Filling these bags is nothing compared to the skills the kids have been learning in this program. There's even a greenhouse here. It's given Wyatt the green light to pursue his passion.
A landscape.
So we talked about the different types of employment.
Miss Rachel simply plants the seeds.
What do you love about landscaping?
And for 13 years, the program has allowed these young people to grow.
It's so wonderful to see how independent they can become, what responsible, self-determined adults that they are when they leave.
And how grounded they are, even at this age. You know what Wyatt wants for Christmas?
Family.
That's kind of what it's like inside this classroom.
All of my students I still stay in contact with. Christmas cards, phone calls.
We switched jobs.
And for Miss Rachel, that's the coolest part of her job at school.
Not everybody. Yeah, go ahead. Not everybody has B-roll that you can kind of roll while, you know, you're talking about how awesome they are, but we certainly appreciate Ms. Williams' dedication to our students and our school. And just congratulations on being honored as CKEC Teacher of the Year. Come on up. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
All righty, thank you very much. Number 4, agenda approval.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, public comment? No? Okay, thank you. Number 6, consent agenda items A through I.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, construction reports. Hello, Tony.
I just saw an old text that said, yeah. So, sounds like it's good. that we
Squeaked
had
in
a
on
little-
2 wheels.
There you go, there you go.
There's a wreck on Leestown Road.
Aw.
I found that North Yarnellton works.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know that
And
I've
it's a
ever-
pretty view.
Yeah, it's a
It
nice
is,
drive.
It is, and a beautiful day outside. Well, good evening. I made it in time for the agenda item. And of course, we've had some good weather lately, so there's been a lot going on, but of course, a lot of construction inside the building, since we're dried in, has promoted the ability to do a lot of painting, a lot of finish work. So there's been progress up to this point. And if you've been by there, you've seen that the fields are in and just large green areas that never have to be mowed, and they're just really bright and pretty. So our first picture here is just from the bypass, of course. This is such a great shot. I reused it. But these are more current pictures where you get up close and you can really see the detail and the metal panel and the coping. And this is even closer on some of that metal panel. You can, in the champagne color that kind of shimmers in the light from almost dark copper to bright champagne is really cool. Here's the gym entry, and there's been some discussion about putting, of course, the name Coach Billy Hicks across that fascia right there. So we're looking forward to that. And just another shot of more completion in the cafeteria area. There's metal panels that go in that window, and that side will just about be done. What you don't see behind that lower wall to the left is all the mechanical stuff that, of course, is hidden. That's the purpose of the wall. So a lot of mechanical work has been done, and, of course, the HVAC system is running inside the building now, of course, with extra filters and things of that nature. You start to really see in the 3 classroom wings some really finished pictures here. So a lot of good progress. Again, more finished pictures. This is at the top of the stairwell. I can't wait till those handrails are in there. It's going to be something.
Absolutely.
And this is just from standing up in the tall lobby there, looking back across to a lot of the glass that has been installed, and that's the 2nd and 3rd level of the gymnasium there. So it's going to be quite a gymnasium. This is the library area, and you can see the studios, kind of little work session studios in the background there. Those are going to be valuable spaces. And a science room, lots of casework in there. You can see they're trying to keep it protected, but outside of really cleaning that area up and the teacher stocking it, it's ready to go. And just another hallway shot. You can see the terrazzo. It's hard to get a shiny shot of the terrazzo just because there's still dust floating around the building, but it's looking good. A picture of the gymnasium there. You can see the modified new red in the background there. That's much more.
You see the difference?
Oh, yeah.
So big difference there. And we step outside and we've got a completed greenhouse now. And there's a shot of the interior as well. It's stocked with the tables, ready to go, ready to grow plants. And they've started some metal fascia panel up on the top there now, but that's the field house standing about where you'd be coming from the grandstands. And here's the interior. Got the artificial turf down on the interior. You can see the red archery lines in the background. And from ground level, there's a little dusty shot there, but you can see the overhead doors in the background there. Those lead directly out to the football field. So I can just see them charging out those doors to the football field on game night, even though they may come out another door. And boom, there's
Would you look at it?
the growling cardinal.
Yeah,
Yes.
look
So
at
That's of course from the home side, and also in that picture is of course the whole visitor grandstand. It seemed like it was not there one day, and on when the next day it was there. They really come in and move on those things. But and of course they're starting to install the home side stand now, and that's up on top of the visitor grandstand looking back. So just a tremendous shot, tremendous view. Going to be a nice facility, a tremendous facility, I should say. That's down in the end zone, looking back towards the field house and the high school. And this is looking the end zone there. They weren't finished brushing all of the turf there, but you can see the red and the blue.
And on behalf of Wendy and myself, the blue looks fabulous.
How about that? Let's just look at that blue a little
would you
bit
look at
longer
it?
there.
Look at it.
Blue lines, blue seas.
Blue seas, 2 A's. It's awesome.
It does look good. And the soccer field, of course, it's so big. It's hard to get into a camera shot, but you can see the view here and just how tremendous it's going to be. Looking back towards the high school and looking at the field house, and of course, standing on the track. It's just it's so big. It's really hard to capture in one shot. Maybe when the grandstands are in, I'll be able to get up high and look down at it. Just the concessions area there, storage room to the left, and again you can see the steel post going in for the grandstands that are going to be above there. That's looking out. It's unfortunate that it won't stay that way because of course the grandstands will be in the way. But if you could stand in the concessions and watch your kids play, that would be something. And a shot of the interior just to let you know that the most important bathrooms on the inside are progressing as well. Standing out in the softball field and looking back, they had the irrigation in. Dugouts just about complete. That's softball third base, and in the background is baseball first base. Dugouts and the light poles are up, and you can see the catch net poles, the black pole there. So again, a lot of progress there at the high school and the athletic field. And of course, according to the contractors, they're on schedule. So any questions on the high school or athletic complex? Georgetown Middle School concessions, just put it in there to let you know we're really closing it out. They owe us some sod, and outside of that, it's just a couple of minor touch-up.
Is it correct to say that Mr. Johnson's been rattling some cages? Calhoun?
Yes, at Calhoun, especially with the new project.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, this project is relatively complete. They need to get the sod down now, but just thought I'd show a few pictures. Garth had a progress meeting this morning. And again, there's really no, the work is starting May 27th, so there's no pictures to show. But on May 27th, they're going to come in, and there was a progress meeting today, kind of pre-construction, another pre-construction about how to strategically take out some of the windows and put some back, and which spaces they can get into maybe while school's still going on. And when I say get into, which spaces they can work and pull windows out and put new ones in. And then, of course, I think the windows are on the site either later that'd be tomorrow, so early next week. And then come summer, they're ready to roll. Again, they're going to start 2 or 3 weeks before that, and Mr. Ellison's been working closely with them to let them know, where, which specific windows, what days, and in some cases they'll take out some windows and put some plywood back temporarily. So a lot of strategy going into phasing that in this summer.
I have a question
Yes.
or random thought. Will there be some sort of big sign in the front of Garth on Broadway that gives some indication to the community that we're have an ongoing window replacement project?
well-
Because if not, and I say this only because the Mary Todd Lincoln House in downtown Lexington just recently did that, and their windows were boarded up, and it generated questions and concerns, and people started, so they ended up having to put a big sign up that says, we are undergoing a window, kind of thing. I just worried about,
One of the
people
things,
driving down the middle of the summer and seeing a bunch of boarded up windows and.
yeah. And,
you get
and, and,
inundated
and
with
to,
calls.
to that comment, City Hall.
Yeah, same
People
thing.
drove by City
Scares
Hall, and
them to
so
death, yeah.
one of the things we had talked about was, we've already got, you've got plywood in the windows. Why not put the signs, put what you're doing on that?
Maybe
Because if
something,
they're
yeah.
seeing it, well, immediately, as soon as they have that thought, then they have the other. The other thought, too, was that, it is such a central location in town
Mm-hmm.
that getting with Peter to say, hey, maybe this, if they have some interest, to say maybe it's a good idea to get this kind of out.
Yeah, just something that's
That-
window
that way
replacement,
it's-
something.
That way we've kind of got something in the paper too, so
Sure.
people can spread that word a little bit.
I just worried about people driving by. Right, because that's what's going to freak people out and think we're. They don't want to do that. Sure, oh, of course, of course. Yeah. All right, good deal, good deal.
And the good news is we've got a, communication network that we can just snap our fingers and in 30 seconds send something to,
Fair enough.
over
Fair
10,000, probably 20,000. So get that out pretty quick.
Okay.
Well,
But
and
good thought. good
Yeah.
thought.
yes, it is a great thought. And to be honest, I don't know if we put that, on a lot of smaller jobs, sometimes we don't.
Sure.
But in this case, because of what you mentioned, we could certainly
Yeah, it
look
just
into
gets so much
getting
traffic and people
yeah,
are
and
funny about
setting it right
parking.
out the road. And you're right, a lot of people, they're on a main thoroughfare. It's like, what's going on there? Well, if there's a little sign there,
Yeah.
let me look into that.
Thank you.
The 96 Scott County High School renovation. Of course, I believe I see the fiscal agents here tonight, and I believe you're going to do a board motion on that. But of course, we bid on March 26th. We had a pre-construction meeting on April 11th. Mr. Ellison, of course, and several design team members and the contractors were there. And one of the things that was discussed most thoroughly was the schedule. And we're going to have bi-monthly. We're going to have a meeting every 2 weeks during the summer to make sure that they stay on schedule. I think they are talking the talk right now, so we're hoping they'll walk the walk. But they seem very competent and had already got things scheduled and are already trying to get us submittals and things like that. So we're pushing that as much as possible. Construction through the summer, and of course completed late July 2024. So that project is rolling, and that is it for the construction report this evening.
Very nice.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Tony?
Thanks,
you.
Tony.
Thanks.
Okay, number 8, approve change order number 04 for the new Scott County High School Athletic Complex as submitted.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 9, approved revised BG1 for renovation of 1996 Scott County High School.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 10, consider approval of a resolution authorizing a contract, rent and lease with the Scott County School District Finance Corporation and approve all other documents in connection with the proposed Scott County School District Finance Corporation series of 2024 bond issue.
Is this something that requires action, or is it motivating us to move to 11 to take action? I don't quite understand that. Yes, okay.
Say
I-
so, because it says
Motion
consider.
second, and then I want
So what are we approving in 10? Because 11 is when we go to the,
Yeah, come on up. Come on, jump in.
because 11's where the motion is.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of,
So I move to recess regular monthly board meeting to convene the Scott County School District Finance Corp meeting.
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
You all want to chime in any?
Yeah, sure. So action item number 10. So Kentucky School District. Thank you, Chip. You're such a so action item 10 is the School District Finance Corporation issues bonds on behalf of your school. So that action was saying we're going to make the lease payments to the finance corporation, which is how all 171 school districts issue debt. So that's what that is. They saying we're going to pay the debt payments.
Mm-hmm.
Then the meeting you're going into now is the finance corporation, where you're actually electing officers, which is no different than just your roles as your vice chair.
Our normal, yeah.
And electing Gina as the treasurer and Parker as superintendent, and signing those documents and then approving actually the issuance of the bond.
Okay, so then we do need action on item
Yes.
10.
was just a little backwards.
It's just worded a little strange.
Right.
Move to approve consideration of a resolution authorizing a contract. Is that sufficient
Yes.
for Corinda?
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We'll jump to number 12. We can all agree. Number 12, call to order special called Finance Corporation meeting. Number 13, elect officers for the Scott County School District Finance Corporation. And we have
Do
them
we have
listed.
a slate?
Yeah.
Move to approve as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 14, approve Finance Corporation meeting minutes for meeting held on March 30th, 2023.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 15, approve resolution authorizing issuance of the Scott County School District Finance Corporation revenue bonds series of 2024 and advertising for bond sale and all other documents in connection with the bond issue.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 16, adjourn a special meeting of the Finance Corporation and reconvene regular Board of Education meeting.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't know if you wanted to
You
say
know,
something.
Just to say, you've all been such good stewards of your resources, and you have great leadership at the helm. You've just really taken advantage of every opportunity in your hands. It's extraordinary the projects you guys. It'd be King of Scott County.
Well, thank you, thank you. It's been great working with you guys. We appreciate it, all your guidance.
Yeah, y'all make us look good.
Yeah,
That
thank
is
you.
correct. It's great. It's amazing what we've been able to do with that nickel,
Woo,
all the residuals that have come
Yes.
from that. you know,
thank goodness, yeah.
Thinking it would stop at Red Crossing High School.
You guys in great shape.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
What she said. I'm just going to.
Oh. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you all.
Number 17.
Yeah, I'll take the good chair. So I have to give Tony a shout out at KSBA. I gave him a hard time that he always leaves when it comes to student achievement report.
Oh, is that why he's here?
He stayed through my report, so thank you.
I was
Tony.
surprised to still see him. I'm like, is there something else I missed?
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
notice
I gave
it.
him a hard time, and
Yeah.
so
Late edition.
so he
Yeah.
stayed. He learned about learning. So, and thank you, Tony. Thank you. All right. So today for the student achievement report, I don't have any presentation because it's really just going into some information. Number one, about the general fund money that's going to go towards our assessments that we purchase every year, as well as our instructional resources. So we'll dive into that one first, and then we're going to do the PD plan for next school year as well. So the first one is the one that is charted like this. So if you want to have it. All right, so first I'm going to talk about the assessments that we provide each year for our teachers. There's not a whole lot of change from that from from last year, but still just to be very clear and transparent. So ESGI is an assessment that we use specifically for our kindergarten group. And that gives those teachers a variety of assessment tools to assess where their students are in reading and as well as math. Of course, iReady, which you all hear a lot about. So this one, I've lumped it all together because in that price point, yes, it pays for our assessment, but we also pay for additional parts of it that provides supports for our teachers. So it is our normative assessment that we give 3 times a year in reading and math for kindergarten through 8th grade. It also offers the MyPath, which is it individualizes instruction in reading and math for each student. And so it also does some teaching. We use it a lot for our Tier 2 interventions. And then it also provides our teacher toolbox, which are the vetted resources that iReady provides. The teacher toolbox is all the digital components of iReady. It also has a writing program. And here in just a little bit, I'm going to talk about that we're also purchasing the hands-on materials for that. But one of the important pieces about the teacher toolbox being available digitally is our intervention teachers are using that. So a student might be in 5th grade, be on a 2nd grade level, and they can pull those resources. Same for middle school. Our special education teachers are using it to provide services. So it's really important that we still have that digital toolbox so that everyone can access. The next component is Easy CBM. I will say that we are looking at possibly another program, but it is a tracking tool that we use for our MTSS or our intervention. So that is how we see our students' progress. I will say that Kim, Harper, Wendy, and Paul are looking at some possible other options, but it would be around the same price point, which you can see is just over $9,000. So it shouldn't shift that much, but get the same product. Pair assessment, which is what we use for our common assessments. I will tell you that's what we formerly called Edulastic, but they have changed the name on us. So it is pair assessment, and that is kindergarten through 12th grade. Horizon Education is the...
Say that again, that's for common assessments.
Yes, common assessments.
U.S. History Department puts their assessment together, everybody can pull it. And then, does that allow the student then to take, are they taking it online? So it's the actual platform.
Yeah, and it also, yes, it's the platform, and it also has a, what's awesome about it, so as a teacher, if you have a great question, you can type it in and use that, or it also has a bank of questions that have been vetted that teachers can pull different types of questions. It will filter it by rigor level. I mean, it's great.
I would have been literally giddy if I had that when I was still in the classroom.
Yep.
The hours we spent fighting as a department over whether there was this question or that question is so nice.
And our assessment team with the leadership of Wendy, they've actually, that we have a common assessment. So like our U.S. history teachers, they've created a common assessment. So whether it's at ECS, Great Crossing, or Scott County High School, they do it at periodic times, and so they can gauge where all the students are.
Really good.
So yeah, it's a great tool.
Yeah,
it's a great tool.
Yeah.
And then Horizon Education is our benchmarking tool that we use for the ACT. So with that, it's not just the assessment that it gives 3 times a year. We mainly do it with 9th, 10th, and 11th, but we also, I made a note to let you know that we also, for 12th graders who have not become post-secondary ready, we offer that as a tool because it also will give individualized instruction. It is like the coolest I know I'm speaking Susan's language. Yeah. It gives a mock ACT, all right, and then it also differentiates. So if I'm a 9th grader, it differentiates the type of assessment that I'm getting, but is ACT like. Then as a student, it gives live data. So if Becky's my student, as soon as she finishes, I can see exactly where she scored in reading, math, science, and English. Then it breaks it down so if I would say Becky would do phenomenal in reading and English, but let's say math, it breaks down the math for what areas that you have areas of growth, and then it assigns lessons to a student based on it. It's a really great tool. This was year 1 of implementation. We've gotten really good feedback from the schools. I will say, iReady, we piloted it for high school this year. We all at the high school team have come to a consensus that it's not working. We're going to revisit, but in the meantime, we're going to use Horizon as that 3-point data so that we're monitoring students academically.
Yeah. So are you? I mean, this is not the first year for Horizon, or is it?
It is the first year.
It is
for
the first year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, obviously it's new, but I mean, the hope is that you're going to see, let's say, math teachers recognize that this whole unit, I don't need to teach because they got it, or this one I'm going to have to.
Yep.
So they're modifying.
Yes.
Based on this.
Yes.
Is what the hope is. I assume, right?
And this has been year 1, and so
it's
letting them
soon.
just get their feet wet. We've kind of done that with all the assessment system changes. Like told everybody we're going to use it. Let's digest the work, and then Wendy is pulling all the high school. Like we're doing an assessment planning team. And so bringing in stakeholders and really thinking about how we can build a better assessment for high school, because there's nothing out there like iReady for high school. And we tried it this year, and it was not worth the money. We didn't pay for it last year. It was like, we'll try it.
There's just so much diversification as far as where the kids are and different. I mean, they're just not in the same.
Right.
It's hard.
Right. I'd love to use the Edulastic component and maybe think about that because it's really much more content oriented. So, but we're going to make sure we bring all the stakeholders in to make that decision. It's not going to be us making that decision and saying, "Hey, you're going to do this." We're going to build it together. So,
And every student takes this Horizon.
9 through 11 does,
Right,
yes.
right,
Mhm.
yeah.
And so one of the systems that they do, because we don't want to over assess, and we did this with iReady this year, is if I'm a ninth grader and I take it and it shows that I'm on point to meet benchmark, then we're going to make it to where they don't have to take it again. Also, to incentivize high schoolers, that will incentivize them to
Oh,
try
yeah.
their best.
Oh,
So,
yes.
to know that they don't have to take it
If
again.
they could be one and
Yeah.
done, yeah.
Yeah.
they'll-
Yeah.
Curious, does ever SAT?
I've not personally, unless they're going to go to an out-of-state college
Yep,
that maybe
that's what I
requires it. You might see that occasionally, but it's pretty standard for most schools to take both.
We used to do the LSAT
Mhm,
for the
mhm.
sophomores when we were doing some other test as a way to encourage them because that's how they become Merit Scholar
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
qualifiers. So, but that's all we ever did. is,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Which
It's
is the
just-
preparatory
Yeah.
SAT.
Mhm.
But I don't. Nick or Elizabeth didn't take it either.
No, I'm with Susan. In my high school experience, it's always we did the LSAT for the merit scholarships, but other than that, you really didn't see. I had one student that he went to Georgetown University, and he always says the one in Washington D.C. That was his valedictorian speech, but he took it in order to he got a full ride. So he was a very gifted young man. But anyway, all right, neither here nor there. So. Instructional resources is on the next two pages. Really, the instructional resources, the bottom in the blue is kind of the budgeting component. So we've talked a lot about our commitment to get materials. Like right now, our teachers have access to all this in iReady, but we want to get the actual materials in our youngest learners' hands. And then as they get to upper elementary, middle, and high, that's when they're more prepared for that digital component to access the material. So we piloted Magnetic with a 3 through 5. Of course, we're doing Orton Gillingham this year. We're continuing to use that for phonics and phonemic awareness. But that was a front cost. Paul has budgeted in Title I, any new teacher to our district that's teaching K through 2, special ed or regular ed, we have money set aside to pay for them to get Orton Gillingham trained. But for 3 through 5, we are going to purchase magnetic reading for all the schools. We piloted it. I purchased it for our TSI schools this year and our orange schools. Those teachers were super excited. We got great feedback, so now we're going to go full district. So there's the cost of that. That is the high-quality instructional resource that is required by Senate Bill 9. Orton Gillingham is for the K through 2. iReady Classroom is actually the math curriculum that comes with this. One of the things is the numeracy bill has passed. This is going to have us ahead of the game because it is also going to require high-quality instructional resources in front of our students. I want you to see that $145,693.60 is a big price tag. However, and I've shared this with you before, but I'm going to share it again. All of our elementary schools applied for the Math Achievement Grant, and all but 2 got funded. So that's actually only a $30,590 cost to our school district. So
That's great.
well, that's big.
Go Math.
Yeah. But I want to give a lot of credit to Billy and Gina. I came to them with a plan, and they made sure that even if we had schools if we had no schools that got those grants, that we had the general fund set aside to make sure that our schools had those materials in our students' hands. So it just works out. Now and we'll talk about that here in a minute. Now we can come up with plans for other stuff.
And
So
it also connects to teacher retention and, we're providing them the support that they need.
Yep. And now all of our students in Scott County schools, regardless of the teacher, the years of experience, all of our students, K through 5, will have a high-quality instructional resource in reading and math in their hands every day. So if I have a teacher that's, option 6 or a teacher that is a seasoned teacher, emergency certified, no matter what the teacher level, every student's going to have the same high-quality, research-based resource available. And all teachers will be that's their base, as I like to call it. Whatever you do outside of that, because Eleanor I'm emergency certified. Eleanor has 15 years. I'm not coming in with the same skill set as Eleanor in experience. So making sure that we have a base for all of our classrooms and all of our teachers in reading and math.
Now, with iReady, will it be available over the summer for students as a resource? Yeah, okay.
I'm
watching
Paul's
Paul.
been doing the
Yeah, I'm
ordering.
watching Paul. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, Paul does the ordering. I just do the money.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
That'd be
That's
great.
good.
Yeah.
And then on the Orton, if we could talk about that a little bit with
Yep.
the K through 2, could we at some point just get an update on how that project worked this summer or
Yep.
this, excuse me, past school year?
Well, so at our next meeting, I will be sharing at that point our iReady administration of the final year will be complete. It's getting
Okay.
close, and all I can tell you is that the data is.
I hear a lot of exciting. I hear a lot of exciting things
Lots of
about it. I
smiles
can't
from
wait
And
to hear.
I'm so excited because we put a huge emphasis, thanks to our literacy team, and we put a big emphasis on early literacy this year, and the data shows it. So I'm even more excited for next year because that same emphasis is going to be happening with math, and I can't wait to see what happens. But right now, we will be sharing. I'll share that with you.
Good.
It's looking very good.
Good, thank you.
Lots of growth. It's very exciting. Lots of excited elementary principals right now. So, so Mystery Science, that is a resource that we provide for our science teachers. It's online, innovated, standards aligned access for our science teachers. Common Lit, we have gotten great feedback from our secondary teachers. It's like the Edge Elastic or peer assessment, only specific for our English language arts teachers, and they are loving it. I think if you can ask Deborah Reed, I think if we told Courtney Keller, who is here tonight, that we were taking it away from her, she may storm the board meeting on me. But anyway, so then we have Pathful, and I forgot to type it into yours, but just because it's new. It is, so ILPs are regulated that we do an ILP 6th grade and up. And so we used a former tool that we didn't love. Deborah Reed has spent a full year diving in. We've had a team of teachers from all secondary schools looking at this, and they have decided that they want to go with Pathful, and then they're aligning that work to the Profile of a Learner. It's awesome, and it's going to be an $8,000 save to the district. So I commend Deborah on really digging in and finding a better system.
Didn't the state originally do their own thing?
They did, and then they didn't want to fund it anymore, and so
now so it's another unfunded mandate. Well, it was a really not user friendly platform.
No,
they
it wasn't.
originally had.
It wasn't.
horrible.
And I mean, from the team that's looked at the Pathful so far, I think they're really excited. It does like an interest inventory. Then it will take that interest inventory and it creates like mock experiences for the students, so they really know. Like if I said I wanted to be an instructional engineer, and it will put me through a series of events to teach me really what instructional engineer looks like and what it's going to look like right out of high school or college compared to what it could look like in 20 years. So it's a pretty cool system. High school textbooks like to always keep, this is a standard, keep 25,000 per school, give or take, depending on their needs, just to make sure that we have earmarked for, it says textbooks, but that's what it's coded as, but they use it for other classroom resources at the high school level.
Sure. Well, there's a place for textbooks still.
Yes,
there
is.
Some coursework just.
Yeah,
should
I
have
think
it.
Great Crossing just adopted chemistry. I think was it last year or 2 years ago? So yeah, there's still a place for that, and so making sure that we have money set aside to provide that for our high schools. Schools PLP, so that's the platform that does SCOLA. It does our credit recovery system. It does PHC's modified coursework. It's getting ready to do summer school, and we've gotten lots of good feedback with it. It's a very user-friendly system. Last year, I got them to give me all credit recovery at the high schools for free.
Yeah,
So-
she came in the door talking all this schools PLP jargon. I'm like, whatever, and it ends up everybody that touched it's like, no, this is where it's at.
Yeah, we
so.
piloted it with SCOLA last year, got great feedback,
Yep.
and then now
Yep.
pushed it out, and
So
it's
this
been
is
good.
Like we used to use Edgenuity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is the cost difference because we're adding more components, or is this?
So
inflation
it's
causing-
actually so we're adding more components
Okay,
because
okay.
for credit recovery, it's a different type of license.
Sure.
Now I will tell you the great thing about Schools PLP is it's one price and you get everything. the downside with Edgenuity is we paid the minimum price to get the minimum.
Sure.
And it's only, about a $20,000 difference. And that's been really big for Scola because they have a much wider catalog to pull courses from.
Sure.
And then the interface, and Heather would scream it from the rooftops, the interface, communication with parents, all of that's built in.
Easier.
Yeah, and easier.
No, I remember
And-
that talk when we first started.
Yeah. And it has some autonomy for teachers as well. So
Yeah. I just with the cost difference, I'm just glad it
Yeah.
wasn't inflation.
yeah, no, it's not. That's because I like to negotiate. It's a habit of mine, and I got some free stuff last year.
Well, all right. Free stuff is
So
free.
on my superintendent's report, I don't think I have anything under influential. I might, but so there you go.
There you go.
Stephanie took care of that for
Yeah,
us.
there we
this
go.
month.
There we go.
Box checked.
But overall, and I've made note, it says 23, 24, but it's actually 24, 25. So the proposed total cost, not taking out grants, not taking out money that I take some things out of Title IV. I'm looking at taking some PD out of Title II. The proposed cost totally for all instructional programs is $756,750.28. Anyways, to be exact. Now, I will tell you, the proposed allocated cost would have been $728,709 once I took out title money. But thanks to our awesome elementary principals, the cost is $648,501. So that being said, and if I have a proposed remaining general fund to use on instructional materials between $80,000 and $110,000. So that being said, there are things that we're looking at. Number one, our K2 teachers. Orton Gillingham is awesome, and Haggerty is awesome for fluency, but they also are like, we want something to hit the comprehension and vocabulary. They like having these consistent materials across all schools at all grade levels. So that's something that we're looking at. And also looking at science and social studies. And the other thing I want to add really quick to give Deborah Reed a huge shout out. You notice there's not anything around middle school because we are using Gradient Learning and it is free. So,
Wow.
yeah. Woo woo. we love that. So, all right, and so that's our, just giving you all some transparency. That's what when we think about instructional resources and assessments, that's where that is. So,
Quick question.
Of course.
Fund instructional.
well, currently they all are going through letters training, and that preschool has a specific letters training. So that's one of the things that Jennifer Walrod is doing, which is kind of like an OG fluency, really getting into how early learners learn to read. So that's one thing. So instead of making them go through a cohort, that is their cohort, and now they will in turn get a step increase once they finish that because it's a 2-year process. And then we just purchased them. A lot of theirs is like hands-on, like learning through play. So if you ever want to see some really cute pictures, we just purchased them like little bitty weightlifting, like it's like little cute stationary bikes. They're like little tiny and like dumbbells. So really, that investment has been on materials for learning. They also, now this was a grant funded, they just created, what's it called, Paul? What kind of room? A snoozle room. Yeah. And it is like, if you ever feel stressed out, you need to go to the snoozle room. On the day of the Great Crossing High School basketball game, Jennifer Walrod sent us pictures because they don't have students on Friday, and they're all in the snoozle room
Watching the game.
And they're
awesome.
like
Yep.
bubbling and so a lot of money goes into that too. Yeah. So
Field trip.
mm-hmm.
Changing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but that was a really good question. Thank you, Becky. Should have included our preschool. And then the next thing that we will need to go over is our professional development plan for next year. It's very similar to last year's. So just to kind of give you an idea, obviously Kentucky requires 24 hours of professional development. That is through their contracted days. So, some people have been, well, we don't get paid for that. Well, they actually are getting paid for that. It's contracted. They work 172 days in the classroom. So anyways, it works out. So if you ever hear why are we doing that, they do technically get paid for it. So, but it's on their own different times. So, so you will see I've highlighted in yellow. So some of our schools are in their first year of Leader in Me implementation. So that requires 2 days of training for their schools. So for them, the district required hours are actually 18. So you have those 2 days, and then we do PD Palooza, right, which is our conference style PD that we do at the beginning of the school year every year. Schools that are in second year of Leader in Me, they did that last summer. So they will actually have, will take up 12 hours. So they have a 1-day training this summer for Leader in Me. And then they have the PD Palooza. So they actually have 12 more hours at the school level that they can decide how they want to use that professional development. So there's a little bit of a differentiation there. But with that, we have our August PD Palooza, which is super fun. Billy dressed up as Rocket Man last year. So who knows what this year will entail. But the theme is Welcome to the Jungle.
You just
gave it away.
All he needs is a red bandana.
Yeah.
I love it.
But there are some surprises in
No,
store for
Axl
our
Rose.
teachers
Yeah.
when they come. Yep. So elementary is August 8th, secondary is August 9th. For our first year schools, the Leader in Me 12 hours. And then this year, based on feedback, our teachers did not like having after school cohorts. So we're only doing them on collab days this year. That's our professional learning. So those teachers, so our librarians, they have a cohort, and we pay a librarian leader within our district to lead that. There's social studies cohort, ELA, physical education. So we try to make sure it's a very broad, and then those teachers come together and they have learning for 3 hours on each of those cohort days. So they spend the morning with us, and then the afternoon is up to the principal discretion. So, but those dates are listed there. Then if a school wants to require PD at the school level before the school year or after the school year, that's completely up to principal's discretion. Any PD hours not covered within the district school plan must be sought out by the individual. One of the things we are putting in place is a flexible PD form. So this gives the principal autonomy to approve or not approve a teacher. Let's say they see a conference over the summer and they want to go to it. Well, they have to get a prior approval from their principal to go to that, just so they can make sure it aligns with the work of what the principal envisions, the school, all those things. And then for groups, like last year we had Orton Gillingham. For those schools, like because Orton Gillingham was a week-long training, we shift their requirements for the district to match that. Yep. So, and then I just kind of went, there's some things that just were in the process, like what PD options we're using, and the cohorts getting feedback from principals, teachers, and everyone. We're in the process of determining what those are now. Then you look at leadership development. Our teacher leaders, so our Deeper Learning Initiative, which is our profile of a learner. We are now in phase 3, which is scaling. So our team has done an amazing job of building this system, and we are preparing for launch district-wide in August. So super excited. We've aligned Leader in Me lessons with all of the profile of a learner. So if I say that I want to be an engaged, compassionate citizen, which Leader in Me lessons tie to that, all the way from preschool to 12th grade. And so a lot of work has been happening around that. And that's all thanks to our Deeper Learning coaches, which represent all schools. Then I just kind of gave some additional information. Aspiring Leaders, which is a way for us to build our own leaders. We have had an awesome experience this year. Brent Allen led that and has done a phenomenal job. All of them are currently, I pay for them a sub and they shadow. So Courtney has been shadowing me today. So we've had a very fun day. But just building up the people who want to be leaders in our district. So giving them opportunity. And then school administration development. Of course, our admin retreat, which this year will be at KASA, our district leadership team meetings, our AP cadre, which is Frank Howitt leads that and pulls all of our assistant principals together and gives them professional learning throughout the year. That's been really effective. And then school and district administration really setting aside, some money for our leaders, our principals. We sent principals to iReady Leadership Summit in Nashville. We've sent them ECS to Deeper Learning in San Diego. We've sent several schools to Ron Clark Academy, like going outside of the state of Kentucky and learning. The special ed team and myself, we went to San Antonio. Just really thinking like going outside, learning new things, getting new ideas to bring back to Scott County because, we want to be the best place to live and learn for everyone. So anyways, all right, that's what I got. Sorry, it was a long one. A lot of information. All right. Thank you all.
Wonderful,
Even if they
thank
didn't
you.
understand what you were saying, they would believe you because you're so enthusiastic.
Listen, when you see this already, Dada,
I'm sincere.
No lie.
No, I'm just saying, you can tell you live it.
Well, thanks, Susan.
It's nice to hear you talk about anything because you just can tell it's part of what you do. Yeah, it's good. Thank you. You okay? I don't have a mint. I'm sorry. I had Oh, I thought maybe it was a tickle.
Okay, you good to go, Eleanor? There she goes.
Oh, hush.
Okay, yeah. Bye, guys, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, number 18, approve positions 18A to 18E as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 19, approve agreement between National Center for Families Learning Agreement and Scott County Board of Education, subject to revision and clarification of sections 10, 14, and 16 to be negotiated by superintendent or designee.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 20, approve agreement between Gradient Learning and Scott County Board of Education.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 21, approve agreement between the Dollywood Foundation, Imagination Library, and the Scott County Board of Education.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 22, approve agreement between Agile Sports Technologies, Inc., Huddle, and the Scott County Board of Education.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 23, approve fiscal 2024 financial audit contract.
Move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 24, approve the 2024-2025 school activity fund budgets.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 25, second reading and approval of policy 08.113 revised graduation requirements.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 26, approve renewal of bid for trash garbage pickup and disposal fiscal year 2024-2025.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 27, approve surplus items as submitted.
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 27, number 28, financial statement. Hi there. Number 29, approve current bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 30, superintendent's report.
I don't know.
I don't know what's going
Well, I
on.
looked over at,
I don't, okay.
I looked over at Eleanor. She was looking at Susan to make sure our bills were approved.
Oh.
And I just caught her because Susan reviews them for us before the meeting, and you caught me off guard. I'm like, am I missing something?
No,
I'm
was
just
my
happy
husband.
that all the little
trust.
little nonverbals I'm catching are positive. So
It's all
I'm good. I'm just want to get on board.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're all good.
Superintendent's report, as I discussed, Standard 7 was carried by none other than Miss
write her
Stephanie
name in
Emmons.
there.
That's right. I'll start at the top. I'll start at the top, and then I might skip around. So first, we have continued our alternative programming talks and tweaking and revising that. You all know from the conversations we've had. Mr. Fitzpatrick's here. He's been a part of some of those conversations too, to provide us with some input on things that they've got going on currently at Phoenix Horizon. So we're continuing down that path, and I would believe we'll probably have some items to discuss at the next meeting about it. Tomorrow, a lot going on tomorrow, going to Stamping Ground Elementary for their presentations of learning. Those are tied to Scott County Schools' profile of a learner. Really excited to be a part of that. And Western has Heritage Day, where their EL students are presenting. Some of it'll be, some of what they went through to get here, and it's a really, really good event. So many of our schools do that. I'm going to be able to catch theirs this year. I'm going to skip to number 4, principal openings. We've got 3 of them, so we've been busy. I'm meeting with Northern's selection committee tomorrow, and we will hopefully, if our schedules align, as I think they will, we'll likely be able to get that resolved next week. And then we have next on the docket is Ann Mason and the Phoenix Horizon community positions. So we will be closing those out so that we can go ahead and have leaders in place so we can move forward. Managerial leadership, we have completed allocation meetings, and then I got to serve as the construction lead over spring break. Tony's not here to tell you that he probably, I don't know if that was a good thing or bad thing, but anyway, it was enjoyable for sure. And then collaborative leadership, I just want to say thank you all for I know DT had reached out and had some conversations with some of you about Coach Hicks and the efforts that have been taken to try and honor him. And so the new gymnasium at Scott County High School bearing his name and actually having an entrance to that gymnasium that we can use, that people can stroll in and stroll under his name, would really meaningful to a lot of people in the community for sure. And then we've we keep kicking the can on some big announcements tied to it, but I promise you they're coming. So we've continued work on the manufacturing pathway that we've talked about in the previous months. And then last but not least, a super tremendous thank you to both our community and our board, because historic raises here in Scott County were 8% across the board is coming for our folks. I mean, and I know we've got action next month to tie to the salary schedule that will I guess make that cemented.
Codified.
Yep, that's right. But again, this stands by what we said we were going to do when we passed the tax increase in the fall for 5%, and then between what we were provided by the state and then other local sources, we were able to pull off an 8. So again, I thank you all as a board for trusting in our district team, and I've had a conversation with SCEA leadership today, and there was a time when I think it was hard because Gina and we were taking a lot of arrows because we weren't able to do some things that other districts were doing because things were tight, frozen funding here, and now people are seeing that we're honoring our word to try and do what we can for our folks. So anyway, that concludes my report.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was a little remiss at the beginning of our meeting. Our board member, Wendy Young, is actually in Washington, D.C. today, and she's accepting for our community the Energy Awards Award that we are once again getting.
Yeah, in her honor.
Oh, yeah, here goes.
Yes,
yeah, there
I
you go.
love it.
There you go. That's
I'm glad you did it
in her
too.
honor. Yeah, absolutely.
Chip said he wouldn't do it tonight.
Yeah. And I will tell you a little funny joke. We've actually seen Billy do it in full. Yeah, I guess he's being conservative for us tonight. But in any case, this is an award that we've won for how many years now, Billy?
Golly,
It's been several. But we've been DT, the buildings, principals, our staff, everybody have worked so hard on really watching how we conserve energy, how we use energy at all of our buildings, and we greatly appreciate it. There's only a handful of schools in the United States that actually receive this award, and I've had the pleasure of attending this, and so has Susan, and it's pretty astounding to walk into hundreds of corporations, and we're one of maybe 8 to 11 schools in the United States that are in attendance. So it's pretty amazing, and Wendy's there to help us out with that. So, okay. And with that said, board comments, and I will start with you. Yeah.
I just want to say, and I have been working on some information gathering to help me make more informed decisions on the board. I'm one of the peers who's not actually taught Scott County Schools, although I don't know what the facilities look like from the inside and out, and a lot of the people. And I really have people like Mr. Kruger and Ellison, Parker, who recently. Schools. Really want to say great appreciation to Stephanie for presentation. A lot of good other things. Tina and Brenda and everyone has just been
Susan?
Just a couple of things. We didn't specify specifically when we approved, but earlier in the agenda, we approved some additional positions in the district, and one of those was an additional gifted and talented teacher for the district. And I think it's been a long time coming. I think we often forget that our gifted and talented students are exceptional students as well, and deserve extra attention to see where they can find their strengths and where they can achieve and be all they can be. And I think there's a lot of gaps in what we're able to do because of staffing, and I think we're going to be able to do a lot more than we realize, having one at each high school and making a difference for some of those kids as well. I think we're fortunate that Billy Hicks was our coach for so long, and we should be proud of that, and I'm grateful that the board wants to draw that attention. I think that it's the right thing to do, but more than that, I think that we're compelled to do it because we've been so fortunate to have that history and that culture piece. And that ties into when I think about being at Scott County High School in the late 80s. We were crowded, and we had cottages. We called them trailers then. And then 12 years later, after my kids started school and I was ready to go back to work, I started at Scott County High School, and we had upgraded them to learning cottages. We had a brand new high school, and we were still in learning cottages. And I just feel so fortunate that we've gotten to this point, looking at those pictures tonight and seeing the Cardinal on it's just, I think of all the challenges we had with the crowding and with the one high school, and we could not come to a consensus in the community. The board at the time, for 12 years, 15 years, couldn't come to a consensus. And I just am so thankful that the community understood the need and was willing to give the nickel. And then again, when we come back and say it's time to fulfill that social contract with our teachers and do for them as a community. So I just need to make that shout out because we've accomplished a lot, but I think we should owe, a lot of it is owed to those that were willing to play a part in it, and it was everyone.
Absolutely.
So it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Eleanor?
I just kind of reiterate what Susan said. I ran into Ashley Hicks, and I'm not sure what her married name is, but Coach Hicks's daughter, and she was elated with the naming of the gym. Actually, Diane and I were at the new high school when DT called her and said, "You can tell people about it now." So we were in the media room, library, weren't we? Yeah.
Doing our walkthrough.
And anyway, Ashley is very, very thankful, and she said her mom was very emotional, but anyway, that we have something to be proud of. Everything is, when I say Scott County Schools, whoa. So anyway, thank you all so much, and you all.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Number 32, move to close session pursuant to KRS 61.810
Move.
1F to discuss student
Oh.
disciplinary matters. Thank you, Susan.
Sure.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
I was
Aye.
eager to do it.
I know. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Move to approve waiver of expulsion hearing signed by parents of student in question.
So move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Move to expel the student for a period beginning on February 2nd, 2024 and ending on February 2nd, 2025 from the classroom setting, but to continue to provide educational services as determined by the superintendent.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Number 35.
So moved.